Okay, the first one I'm going to do, we're going to start with f of x is equal to 2x minus 5, and g of x is equal to 2 minus x. So write those two down, and we're going to go through adding them, subtracting them, multiplying them, and dividing them. Okay. So f plus g of x is simply equal to 2x minus 5, the f of x, plus 2 minus x. And now it's just simply a case of collecting like terms, which would be 1x, or just x, minus 3. Okay, so f plus g of x, you just write the two down, collect the like terms, and you're done.
That's for addition?
That's for addition. The next one we'll do is f minus g of x. Start with f because it comes first here. Alright, it goes in the order it says. So 2x minus 5, but I'm going to minus the g. So I'm going to put a little bracket here so it's very noticeable what happens. Okay, f of x minus g of x. So what will I do with this minus in front? Distribute it through. And then it becomes collect like terms after I do the distributing. So I distribute, get a negative 2, a positive x. Then when I collect like terms, this is 3x minus 7. The multiplication one, just written fg of x. I'm going to put both of these in parentheses because I'm going to multiply them together. 2x minus 5 times 2 minus x. So how are we going to FOIL is the one thing that we've heard. I like calling it double distribute because that makes more sense. That's what you do. You distribute the 2x to both of these terms, then you distribute the negative 5 to both of those terms. Alright, so I will get 2 times 2 would be 4x, and then minus 2x squared. Okay, so now I've distributed the 2x to both of these terms. Distributing the negative 5, I get negative 10 and a positive 5x. Always at this point where you've had a lot of positives and negatives in there, that is the number one place I see errors. Go back and double check that everything is correct with the positives and negatives. Alright, positive times positive, positive times negative. Negative, positive, negative, negative. Okay, just go back and check that. Most likely you multiply 2 times 5 correctly. Alright, it's just the positive negatives. Now we'll collect like terms, and we will also put it in order. I like to start with the highest polynomial degree and work down. It's a typical thing that you see in math. So negative 2x squared, combining the x terms, I get 9x and then minus 10. Alright, easy so far. Now let's do the hard one. F divided by g of x. Alright, you put the f function on top, 2x minus 5. You put the g function on the bottom. And now we have to state what cannot happen. X can't be what number? 2. X cannot be 2. Because we don't want a 0 in the denominator. Is there anything we can do with crossing out and simplifying this? There is not. So we are done. So I lied when I said we came to the hard part. That's really all you have to do. You have to remember to put the this little caveat out here that x can't equal 2.
Would there be any ones like this that we have to cross out and stuff?
Not yet. We'll get to that. Okay, because to cross it out, you're going to have to factor something out, and it has to be on the top and on the bottom. And we haven't really covered a lot of factoring yet. Okay, so not yet. If it's obvious you've got an x up top and an x on the bottom that's multiplying everything, then you can cross it out. Notice the 2 can't cancel the 2 because he's inside of an equation. It has to be something multiplied by something, because you're saying I multiplied it by this and then I divided it by that. Okay, so it has to be a multiply divide situation to be able to cross those out. Number 14, I'm going to just do a slightly harder looking f and g. So f of x is going to be the square root of x squared minus 4. And g of x is going to be x squared over x squared plus 1. Okay, let's start with f plus g of x. They're in the book. That's number 14 in the book. And the reason why I'm telling you the numbers is because when you do your homework, if you have a question on how to do number 10, you'll know which one it will kind of look like on my... Yeah, 9 to 15 is the homework problems. Okay, so we take the f function, and that is square root of x squared minus 4, and we're going to add it to x squared all over x squared plus 1. Notice also g of x cannot be simplified. That and that do not cancel out because the x squared is not multiplying the entire bottom of the equation. I would have to have it factored out and be a multiple of the bottom instead of the way it is. Can we just straight up add these? I have to have a common denominator to add. Alright, the common denominator would just be this. Alright, so you would say I need an x squared plus 1 supposed to be a minus. Ignore that. But everybody agree that this right here becomes this. All I did, since I have this on the bottom, I have to put it on the top. Notice that they would cancel out and reduce back down to just what I started with. So basically I'm unreducing it. And I'm going to add it to x squared. So I don't have to do anything with the second one. Okay, now since I have a common denominator of x squared plus 1, I can put the entire top all together. Okay, now you tell me, what looks better? This or this? 1 or 2?
2.
Okay, I like him better. I like him better. In calculus, you will like that better. This right here would be a very, very difficult integration or derivative problem to do. This one, you can break it apart and you can actually integrate or differentiate the two individually. When I get to which one? No, because I've got the plus x out here. Since I have plus x, I have to have it multiplied by everything up top. And I would have to have something down here.
Could you do that in the step before?
No. I mean, if I cross this out, then I'm back to this. And
I see.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Actually, I did all of this to show that don't do all of that. All right?
Don't do that.
When you get something like this, and I needed to show you when you can stop. When they look complicated, leave it like this because it's not going to get any easier. Alright? That's just not going to work out. So you can just leave it like this. You couldn't do that in the top one. If you just left it there, I would think you didn't know what you were doing. So the top one you did need to simplify. This one, it's not wrong. I wouldn't count that wrong, but you don't have to do it. Okay? So with that in mind, f minus g of x is going to be the same type of thing, correct? So I'm just going to write it out and say that is the square root of x squared minus 4 minus, that's squared, and stop. You can. I think because it's already one's top, one's bottom, it's probably not terribly important. If I did a slash mark instead of a straight up fraction bar, when you do a bar like this, it's automatically assumed the top is parentheses and the bottom is parentheses. Okay, that's why your calculator, when it only does the sideways slash, and so it's not knowing that everything on top and bottom, unless you know about that secret button that gives you, yeah, nice button. Okay, fg of x for these guys, we're going to multiply it. You can't really do much with the multiplying. It's going to be x squared minus 4 will end up being on the top along with an x squared. I might go put that out in front.